AITA for telling my aunt to keep her gifts since my kids couldn't care less about them. I have two toddler sons. They're just like any other toddler and are pretty self-absorbed. Currently, one adores cars and the other loves the color red. Toddler 1 won't play with anything but cars and toddler 2 will only play with red toys. My mom hosted a party the other night and one of my aunts came. She bought a bunch of gifts for all the kids. The older kids were respectful and accepted their gifts, but my son simply glanced at the toys, noticed they weren't cars or red, and moved on to something else. I thanked her for the toys and made a joke about how unpredictable toddlers are after realizing that she looked upset, but she rolled her eyes and said that was rude. I told her that they're toddlers and she said so. My kids knew how to say thank you by the time they were 3. I told her that they can say please and thank you, but they're still learning. She made a noise and said learning to be rude. I told her she was being a little sensitive and that they're literally babies. They don't even understand the concepts of being rude or ungrateful. She got annoyed and said fine then. Don't expect any more presents after today, and that she hates entitled parents like me who are blinded by their children and think they can do no wrong. I said whatever, and told her she could keep the gifts she bought for today since my kids couldn't care less about them. She got all red in the face and said now she knows why the boys are so rude, but I just grabbed the kids and my husband and left. I was extremely angry at the moment, but now I'm just in disbelief. Who gets offended by a toddler? My mom says my aunt is very upset with me and is threatening to uninvite us from her Christmas dinner aunt is hosting this year unless I apologize and promise to raise my kids better. My mom thinks we're being ridiculous and I should just say sorry, but I said no. AITA, I just can't wrap my head around why she's so angry. Edit first, to be more specific, the boys just turned 2. Second, I feel I made this clear, but I apologized and thanked my aunt before anything else. The boys had already run off to their dad and were preoccupied with him by the time I got to my aunt, so dragging them over and trying to maybe get a thank you out of them felt like a waste of time for all of us. I'm not saying she isn't allowed to feel hurt, but she didn't have to say all those things about my kids. I've explained this in the comments. People still think I'm in the wrong, but a few people are saying to include it anyways. The boys don't really speak. Yes, they're 2. And I'm sure your 2-year-old niece or nephew can speak several languages, but my sons barely say mommy and daddy sometimes. It's not something concerning, but I didn't think it was worth the time to drag my kids back to me and my aunt and get them to say thank you, which they won't even acknowledge me until about 10 minutes in, and then they'll just stare. Sometimes I can get a noise or sound out of them, maybe oh, but I figured my aunt had better things to do than wait that long. I sincerely believe that there was no reason for her to get so angry, but I understand that I was wrong and will apologize. We won't be attending her Christmas party though. Thanks for all the comments. I appreciate the nice ones with constructive criticism.